use the rest of my time for a moment of silence.
You will not believe how shameless this group of people is going to be.
In response to Moms for Liberty, who I think a few of the guys have already left, so it must not be that important to be here, who quoted Adolf Hitler yesterday in their newsletter, stating that he who controls the youth controls the world.
That's right, their group literally quoted Adolf Hitler, but just wait, because it's gonna get even worse in the next seconds of the video.
Disgusting.
Moment of silence to think about what that means today.
Oh, that's so pathetic.
Okay, are you through with your...
No, I'm not through. Is my time up?
I don't know if you caught that, but there's a bunch of people faking coughs in the background and somebody chatting to intentionally disrupt the moment of silence to remember the victims of the Holocaust. That is, of course, something that the group Moms for Liberty thought would be something worth doing, which is to reiterate interrupting intentionally a moment of silence for the victims of the Holocaust.
I can't see the clock.
I can't either. You tell me when my time's up. I'm speaking, you guys are interrupting, so I'll take that time back. Please don't address me like you're asking me not to address you.
Can you please go ahead with your comment and then take your seat?
A moment of silence.
I'm gonna need an extra 30 minutes because I keep being interrupted.
Okay.
30
Can you
seconds.
please take your seat? Please take your seat, sir.
I asked for 30 more seconds because I was interrupted rudely by the board. You're gonna escort me out as I'm asking for a moment of silence for Holocaust.
We did have a moment of silence.
No, we did
I
not. You
appreciate
interrupted that.
Okay, Officer Cunningham, can you please escort this gentleman out?
So in case you haven't figured it out yet, the Republican Party has fully embraced Nazism, and the group Moms for Liberty is a perfect example of that. Because of course, they're one of many groups that has been railing against the existence of trans people, just deeply furious that trans people be allowed to exist in peace. Which is all part of course, this larger effort from the Republican Party to effectively make it a crime for trans people to exist in public. Now, granted, those particular sets of laws have all been shot down in courts so far, but that doesn't hide the fact that Republicans have been pushing for them and passing them in state legislatures. They are quite literally trying to criminalize the existence of queer people while also quoting Adolf Hitler. And I feel like it doesn't get more on the nose than that, but that doesn't stop a lot of the media in the United States from pretending as though there's some sort of equivalence that can be drawn between the Republicans and the Democrats, that it's still this intellectual debate of ideas in the marketplace of ideas, that somehow you have two parties that are equally worthy of attention and both should be considered to be very serious, when you literally have one party that is ranting about cultural Marxism, which by the way is a deeply anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The Nazis called it Judeo-Bolshevism. Cultural Marxism is just a rebrand of that same conspiracy theory. And of course, you have groups like Moms for Liberty quoting Adolf Hitler. You have elected Republicans quoting Adolf Hitler. And of course, you have the actual policies that Republicans are pushing for, not to mention their rhetoric towards marginalized people at large. All of this should be very, very deeply concerning because it is fundamentally a reflection of the fact that Republicans have completely separated themselves from any degree of moral decency whatsoever. They have fully committed to embracing white supremacy as their central ideology. That's one of the reasons why Republicans loved Donald Trump so much. It's not because of any of his policies, really. It's because Donald Trump was just unafraid to go and say the most racist things that he could think of off the top of his head. And Republicans saw that as permissions to fully embrace that racism for themselves. Of course, these are people who have been racist for a pretty long time. They just finally feel emboldened once again to say the racist things that we as a society kind of bullied them out of saying out loud for a while. And that right there, I think, is the important part. When it comes to all of this transphobic nonsense, the homophobic nonsense, this racist nonsense, all of this evil nonsense that Republicans are pushing, the appropriate response basically is to laugh them out of the room and to make them feel ashamed for saying the things that they do. I mean, fundamentally, we need to make it clear that these people are not allowed in polite company, especially not saying the things that they are. It should be very, very uncomfortable for these white supremacists to say what is on their mind. As much as we would like to change hearts and minds, in the short term, our goal really should be to make these people feel like they're the only person with thoughts like this, that they're the only transphobic person in the world or the only racist person in the world. They should feel uncomfortable thinking the thoughts that they are, and they should feel like their comments are unwelcome in any space that they're in.